It doesn't really help us make a list of our favorite Christmas adventures. Or our Christmases. I don't know. We're calling each of these movies a mess. I don't know what we're doing. This doesn't really make a sense. This pun really doesn't work long term. But we're sticking with it. We're dedicated to the pun. So how about instead of changing the heading, we add each flick to a div or something. We just add it somewhere on the page instead of blowing it away every time. Let's do that. So underneath the form, let's put someplace else that we can put the input after we submit it. So you know what a div is? It doesn't mean anything. It's just a container. So in the world of HTML, we have block level elements and inline elements. Things like paragraphs, headings, those are block elements. The thing about block elements is they take up an entire line. And if you put something after them, it's going to be on the next line, maybe with some space in between. But it's never going to be on the same line as the block level element. Inline elements are things where that's not true. So things like inputs and buttons. As you can see, they're side by side. So neither one of those is a block level element. Things like EM for emphasis, which you can use to italicize something. That's an inline element. So most of these elements have some sort of semantic meaning. But there's a couple that don't mean a darn thing. Div and span. So div is the generic block level element with no inherent meaning. Span is the generic inline element. So we're going to make a little container here, and we're going to make it a div because div doesn't mean a thing. So we'll just make a div here, and we'll just start sticking the input into the div, whatever we submit. So let's give this some sort of ID or something, so that we can target it easier. How about ID equals flicks? I like it. So now what I want to do is instead of the heading, let's get the flicks div or whatever. Maybe we want to call it the container. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. Flicks div. And it's not an H1, is it? It's hash flick. What did I call it? Flicks. Yeah. Hash flicks. And then I want to change that thing. That thing's text content to the flick name. Let's try that. What's that do? Cool. Type in something else, and it just replaces it though, right? We want to add each new thing without replacing what's already there. So how can we change that? How can I change that so what's already there doesn't get blown away? What do you think? Can't be done. Just give up now. Save ourselves the embarrassment. What can I change? How can I change line 7 so that it doesn't blow away what's already there? Yeah, Joe?
The text content plus like have flicks div text content plus there.
So on the right side. Okay, let's do both of those things. So on the right side, we could say the text content as it is now plus whatever the value is. Right, now what's already there doesn't get blown away. And as Colin pointed out, we could just say plus equals. Yes, that does work in JavaScript. So that says take what's already there and stick this on the end. Concatenation, right? Everybody know that term? String concatenation. Now, slight problem here. Thor, Guardians, smashing them all together, right? If we wanted at least a space in between, we could say plus equals a string that just has a space in it. Something like that. Done that kind of thing before, I'm sure. So what's already in the text content plus a space plus whatever the new flick is. So Snowpiercer has Chris Evans in it. That horrible hacking movie directed by Michael Mann had Chris Hemsworth in it. What was that called? Everybody know the movie I'm talking about? Yeah, it's not worth remembering. I'm not going to bother. Yeah, so now we have spaces in between them, right? What if you wanted to put line breaks in between them? Backslash in. That's a line break, right? Got-ga 2. Oh. I don't know about you, but this is really ticking me off that I have to backspace over each new one. Okay, got 2. Captain America. Hey, what's going on here? Yeah, I've been betrayed. Let's have a look at this. If we want to have a look at this in our DOM, I can say inspect. Hey, they look like they're on multiple lines there. What did I tell you about white space in HTML? It's just like a space. It just compresses it all down to one space. I could put 10 line breaks in between them. Okay, that's not 10, but it's more than that. So, got-ga cap. Yeah, lots of line breaks. It's just a space. Well, gosh dang it. That's nice for formatting. It means we can indent and stuff to our heart's content and space things out so that they're readable. But that's not what we're looking for. Well, still, at least we've got them in there. We've got a space between them. That's progress. So let's go ahead and commit that much. I will again use the Git integration that's built right into code. And I can add and commit all in one step if I want to by just typing in my commit message, or I can add files one at a time by hitting the little plus here. Now if I committed now, I would commit just the HTML changes. So I could say add an empty div to the page if I wanted to commit that separately from this behavior. Ooh, also you can click on these changes and see what actually changed. We removed these lines. We added these lines. I can just close this one that says working tree now. And I can commit this. Add flicks to a div as they're submitted. Now all this still lives only on my laptop, right? I've committed them, but it's all to the left of the dotted line. If I wanted to go up to GitHub, push, and now it's there.